So me and Corey are here to talk about tools today. And not new tools. Tools that have fallen off ladders.
Tried and true.
Tried and true, man. Fallen off a lot of things based on how bad this thing looks. You guys have dropped this dynamo tag a lot.
It's been in our arsenal for about 5 years.
5 years. So we'll leave links to all these things below where you can get this on Amazon. We have an affiliate link if you enjoy clicking that. But we're going to talk about some of the tools that he uses because I'm not good at wiring. That's why I don't do the wiring videos, and that's why I hired an expert to do my wiring. We'll start with the label printer. There's not a lot to talk about. It's a really basic dynamo.
Dymo Electrotag.
I say dynamo, but it's just a D-Y-M-O.
Yep.
Electrotag. Basic, gets the job done.
Yep.
And it's one of those things that someone's going to comment and say, there's some real expensive one I like better. One of the things I like is this one's held up well. It's not expensive because, unfortunately, we're doing labeling, from the top to the bottom and things. Well, they fall off ladders, Corey.
Out in the field, they fall off ladders. We also use that unit in our store, too.
Yeah, to label stuff all the time. It's just a handy little thing. And once you kind of settle in, we actually have, I think, 3 of these. That way you can buy all the same refills for all of them. Makes it pretty easy.
Yep.
Now, the next one, and I like this.
That's the Southwire.
Southwire. I want to call it soft, but it's Southwire.
Yep.
Crimper and punch for punching down patch panels and crimping RJ45s.
Yep.
This is a basic, inexpensive tool, but man, I mean...
It's just so light and easy to crimp with, and it cuts, and it also does a 6-pair and a 4-pair, so it's all in one.
Yeah. Real basic. There's not a lot to it to talk about. It's one of those, but it's a solid tool that has lasted a really long time. I mean, this thing is scuffed, but it's a comfortable grip.
Yeah.
So your hands aren't killed by the end of the day.
It's a really easy crimp, too. I mean, it's very easy.
Easy pull-down crimp, and then when you get a set, and they come as a kit. You can get this. They have a screwdriver kit that goes in there with it. Real simple crimps. A lot of people ask, what crimper do you like? These have really held up.
Now, we like these punchers. We just buy these individually as well, just because they're so easy to use. It's just a palm-of-the-hand puncher instead of trying to use a screwdriver-style one. It makes life easier at the end of the day. If you're punching 200 wires, that's the way to go.
And one of the things I like, once again, they're not expensive because occasionally these may have fallen in places that you just can't get. And you feel bad if you have a real expensive tool. There's at least, what is that, one 20-foot wall that you dropped it all the way down into.
Man.
We've
got
lost
a lot of tools and walls out there. I got a $60...
drill bit?
It's a hole saw I just bought, and we used it once, and it fell down. So sometimes that happens on the job. So if you're spending... less than $20 for a tool. It's
you feel a lot less bad when you're buying tools.
Yeah, you don't.
Yeah. We'll talk about this real quick. So this is the
Tecton.
Yep. Tecton little handy kit, fits in your back pocket,
46 piece.
46 piece. Once again, a small basic tool set, but when you're putting up a lot of cameras and a lot of PoE stuff, sometimes they don't always have just a Phillips or a flathead. They have all kinds of little adjusters on there to get the tensioner set, and you may not have it with you. You have to go back down the ladder, or you can just keep this in your pocket, and then while you're up there, you can quickly get something adjusted if you need to. And because we do so many of these camera jobs, like for school systems and things like that, how many different cameras does a school have? Just the one district has.
I've encountered at least 10 different variations of dome cameras, or this has had it every time.
Yeah.
So I use that for audio too. A lot of the
audio
1, 2, 3
adjustments.
clips.
1, 2, 3 clips. Yeah. Now here's another best $13 ever spent.
Holy cow! I've done it a few. We bought a couple of them. They're so great.
And if you haven't guessed, what this does is goes up in a ceiling tile. So you pop a tile out, you snap this in. And it's got the little edge, so it fits pretty much all your standard drop ceilings. And when you're pulling the wire through, the wire pulls through nice and smooth without ripping apart the corners of the drop ceiling or shredding the wire because it caught a sharp edge. A couple of these, man, are so cheap. He keeps a couple of them in his van.
Madison Electronics Stingray.
Stingray, yeah. Was it Mirai or something? We'll leave a link to this as well. But it's one of those, once again, it's not expensive. There's no moving parts. There's not much to go wrong with it. It's
really durable plastic, too.
High impact.
We've dropped it 25 feet, and
it bounces. And
it's a good...
Other than making a loud noise, it's a really good, durable tool.
Yeah, very durable.
Now let's talk about real quick. There's a lot of opinion when it comes to tools. Yes, I know the Cobalt is the Lowe's brand. They do sell them on their... I don't know that they're Lowe's exclusive because they do sell them on Amazon, but I think it's sold still through Lowe's. This is just a saw hole kit, but what kind of drills do you use?
I use Makita.
Yeah, he likes the Makita drills, which are a really solid product. Once again, there's a lot of opinions out there, but the for the whole saw kits, these have been like the real cost effective, have held up, and these are all well used from sawing. Amazing to me is the paint's not even completely off of this one.
Cobalt put some
Seriously,
quality into their products.
Yeah, because when you're up there, you got to drill a lot of holes, getting all this cabling and wiring in. You know, you're popping through stuff. This Cobalt stuff, I'll leave a link to it, but these have always been really good hold up. Now, we're going to save this one for last, because we'll cover this real quick, because in case you didn't see this, the mag pole, this is fun.
Let's start with that one.
This one here.
The Land Scout Junior.
Land Scout Junior. So if you do this kind of part-time, Land Scout Junior is a good system to have.
Very, very cost effective.
So it's just a cable tester that tests all the pins.
One unit, but it tests every single pin.
Yeah, it goes through, tests every pin. Real basic, obviously. One end can go in the comm room, one end goes in here. You plug it around, test them. Cool, get the job done. I know all the pins are good. It's not like a cable certifier. It's not real advanced. It's not doing any real in-depth signal testing, but it'll get the job done for, just testing the pins in the cable.
Now, I feel like if you don't have the time to go with one unit to test, this is where you go. This is an 8-unit tester from Klein. It's the VDV Scout Pro 2. We've had this in our arsenal for at least 3.5 years, and this thing is invaluable. This is by far our most important tool because it doesn't matter if you can get that wire in. What matters is you can guarantee it works.
Yeah, and what this allows you to do, and each one of these are labeled 1 through 8, and I've reviewed this tool before, and this is a follow-up on it, really. It still works as good as the day we bought it. You pop these little ends on. Actually, I will admit the new model is a little bit nicer than our older one that we have here, but it still works the same way, and it allows you to do the testing for either voice, cable, or RJ45s. And what the numbers represent on here is you go around and plug these on here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it tells you which one of these ends you're testing. So when you're in separate rooms, one person can easily label each of the poles, each of the runs, and pop a number on them real quick. So you know if you know where you plugged them in, it's easy to figure out where they are in the comm room and which numbers they are. So when you have like a 4-port jack, especially because we take over so many wiring jobs we didn't do. So you plug in all 4, you label where you plugged them in, then you go in the back comm room and you figure out where they are on the patch panel, and it tells you which one.
It makes life a lot easier when you test and label on each job.
Yeah, when you're testing and labeling, especially when you're doing a takeover and because God knows no one documents anything. We document what we do, but often they're calling us and not the previous guy because the previous guy didn't document what he did. Especially when you're doing kind of a cleanup mess. It's not always a rerun, but we got to clean up, and anytime we're doing a cleanup, we got to do some of the labeling. So like I said, if you're individual, the basic one here, pretty inexpensive. This still helps if you're a one-man show, so you don't have someone out in the comm room and out in the office area doing this. But it's even faster if you got 2 people, so you can have them run around and plug this stuff in. This
is Klein's VDV distance meter. Basically, what this meter does is allows you to select whatever kind of wire you're using, and instead of guessing how much length you have.
So how much wire do you guys think is here? I have no idea. This is a box that got destroyed.
Yeah, it got wet in the rain.
Yeah, so the box, things happen when you run cable and whatever. But you grab 2 wires out of it. And pretty quick here.
Then you go in there and you simply select your wire. So this is Cat 6. So there we go. We've selected Cat 6. Now we come out and then it tells us, based on the negative and positive, we got about 304 feet right here.
Yep. Now, this also works with phone lines. And the other cool thing is if you crimp an end and you pop it into the wall, it will tell you the length of the run of the wall, provided it gets goofy if something's plugged in on the other end. But if you're trying to trace the wires back and figure out how far that length is already run to the wall, it works for that as well. And it actually has a custom, and it gets some instructions in here for this. It supports different gauge of wires, so you can use this to measure more than just Cat 5 wire. We've actually used it to measure some alarm wires, some audio wire, speaker wire, things like that. You just dial in what gauge wire it is.
Yep, coax.
Coax. It's got a coax measure. So
many settings for different kinds of wire.
Yeah, so it's kind of cool. It's one of those handy little things when we're labeling stuff, and you run into this. And now it'll do really short lengths, like a 15-foot length of cable as well. Now the next little tool is it's yellow and fits in the Klein box great, and slide the Meraki down here.
It's from Wi-Fi Texas.
Wi-Fi Texas. This is roughly a $40 tool. They make a new version. I haven't really dug into what the new features are in the new version, but this is kind of neat. So you go here, and this is hooked up to a PoE injector. We're going to plug it in over here to this Meraki unit. And what comes up on a display is, one, whether it's been wired in 56A or B. Then it's going to tell us the amperage and the voltage coming over here. So it's always going to, even without this plugged in, without the Cisco plugged in, it's going to give me, takes a second, it'll display the voltage. Then I'm going to get the voltage and the amperage just going through to the device. This becomes really handy. One, back to the being inexpensive, because you're frequently, how often are you testing this with a camera system? Because the camera went out, pop the camera down.
That's something that, I mean, I don't use it as frequently as that, but I use this maybe twice a week.
Yeah, so it's just it's a great little troubleshooting device for going in there and going, all right, do I have voltage on this line? And you can figure it out pretty quick. So it's kind of a handy tool for doing that. It's convenient, requires no batteries because it's powered off the PoE. So it's dead simple. You can't get it wrong. I know there's some more advanced tools that give you way more information, but a lot of times you just want to know, is there power or not? We had a problem where it turns out someone turned off all the power in the switch when they were pushing configurations. So when some of the cameras went dead, it was some type of policy configuration. There's just no voltage coming out. Real simple fix. Test it real quick. Okay, no voltage. Then we can troubleshoot further. It's just one of those things. I like simple tools because they're less likely to break down. And if you drop this off a ladder, there's not much to break inside of it.
Really.
I've looked inside. There's really nothing to it. Just a little display with the voltage on it. But definitely really handy for doing that.
Would it be worth mentioning that all of this here is stuff I cut out just because I like to keep these tools together.
Yeah, we actually stick them all in together.
Yeah, they fit together really nicely when you do it like that.
Yeah,
that is a modification I've made.
Yeah, Mod made. So these two Klein tools, we bought these separate, but they leave you this big spot. So we trimmed holes in it to make sure it all fits in a nice case.
Yep.
Now, this is a newer tool, but a fun tool. And we're going to do a more in-depth review. We have a wall we just finished building. We're going to be doing some more videos on training on how to do this, because they kind of serve as a fun way to show you how they all work. But this is a MAGPU.
MAGNEPU wall fishing system.
So what this does, and this is just kind of cool. So the MAGPU here, it really is seriously hard to pull apart. There we go. This table's thick. This is a custom built. Holy crap!
It's about 2 inches thick.
There's a few inches of table right here, and you can. Yeah, let that go. Look at that. We can do magic tricks with this thing. This will go through some pretty heavy walls, and what this is you drop this down into the wall, and it will yank even through insulation, which of course if you're dealing with insulated walls can be a real pain in the butt.
It'll pull right through it.
It'll pull right through it. We have it on this chain, but you actually will usually put this on a fish stick. We just put it to the chain to, for this because it fits in the box. A lot of times it's got a standard hook on it. This is a really strong braid here. And what this allows you to do, though, you put it on a fish stick, you can pull that fish stick right down the wall and out to the spot. We're going to do a more in-depth demo on how this is used. This is also handy when you have special holes you got to try and get it through, and you got to work it sideways because you can roll this roller. Now this roller's
get around an electrical box in the wall,
right?
Anything like
when
that.
You got to pull it around something, and this is real rubber soft coating on here, so when you run it down a drywall, you're not marring up the wall. That's what's important about this. So wow, that thing is scary. It also seems to have protection against doing stupid things like getting it that close. It doesn't seem to break. So
it looks like it's power coated. Now it also comes with this unit right here, which is basically just a pinpoint. So basically what that is you would stick that in your ceiling to try to find where you would drill your hole, and then once you found it,
it lines up.
See how it lights up?
Yeah. And what this will do too, or like I said, we're going to do a more in-depth review of this, but it's on here. So if you're on the wall, but there's no door, so you're like, okay, I want the hole here, and I can come from the other side of the wall or ceiling, whichever one, you can push this push pin in onto a piece of drywall and find that location and punch through there.
So you know exactly where you're at, directly above where you want your hole in the wall to be.
Right. It also works through outside walls, and we've done a little playing with this. It's kind of cool because, for example, when you got to run outdoors, you don't know where exactly it is outdoors.
Yep.
So you try to measure. You go inside the house or building, push this pin. It sticks right into the drywall, and you're going to walk around outside, and you're like, that's where the hole's going to go. So that's where I need to drill through.
You know exactly where you're going to drill within about a 2 or 3 inch spot.
Yeah, it's fairly accurate.
Yep.
It's pretty directional. Like I said, we're going to do a more in-depth review on this, but we wanted to cover just some of these tools that we use on a kind of a regular basis. This was a newer addition to the tool set, but a welcome one at that.
Absolutely.
I should put the pin in down. There we go. So you don't poke yourself with the pin. That's it. I'll leave links below to all these fun tools, but a lot of people have asked some of the stuff. It's freezing outside today. We were going to show like more of what's in the truck, but this is like the things a lot of people are asking about when they message me like, hey, what are some of the tools you guys use for this?
There's a lot more tools.
There's still a lot more tools in general, and drills and things like that. We'll do some more. And for any of these you have questions, leave them in the comments below. And like I said, we're going to do this Magpul one. We're going to have a more in-depth how we wire a wall video. Make an instructional video, how we use it and how we use these things in combination for that. But if you're looking for some gift ideas for a tech geek that does some of this stuff, these are good tools to buy them. We've been really happy with these Klein tools. Like I said, this one, I reviewed this probably first 2 years ago. It has held up really well. Been dropped from the ceiling many, many times and held up very well. That's one of the important things to us when I do these reviews. They're not just a brand new shiny tool I think will hold up. We bought it a couple of years ago. It still works great. The only thing we've done is pop new batteries in it.
Yep.
Thanks for watching. If you like this video, go ahead and click the thumbs up. Leave us some feedback below to let us know any details, what you like and didn't like as well, because we love hearing the feedback. Or if you just want to say thanks, leave a comment. If you want to be notified of new videos as they come out, go ahead and hit the subscribe and the bell icon. That lets YouTube know that you're interested in notifications. Hopefully they send them, as we've learned with YouTube. Anyways, if you want to contract us for consulting services, you go ahead and hit lawrencesystems.com, and you can reach out to us for all the projects that we can do and help you. We work with a lot of small businesses, IT companies, even some large companies, and you can farm different work out to us or just hire us as a consultant to help design your network. Also, if you want to help the channel in other ways, we have a Patreon. We have affiliate links. You'll find them in the description. You'll also find recommendations to other affiliate links and things you can sign up for on lawrencesystems.com. Once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.